Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.
Are you ready to dorm with two freshmen who steal your clothes? Neither are we. Welcome back to Shit 90 Shows Taught Me. I'm Just Sterling, here with my co-host, Sara Fergenson, Sarah Humphrey, as I always say. How are you?
Yeah, good. It's so funny because it wasn't too long ago we were talking about a certain demon named Kathy on the Buffy podcast who loved to steal clothes. And I told the story, if you don't listen to our Buffy podcast, that my best friend had a freshman year roommate that she caught stealing my best friend's underwear
So weird.
in her suitcase, packed in suitcase. And then she was like, hey, by the way, like, I know you're stealing my underwear because I see it in your suitcase. And the roommate was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. It's like, yeah. Also her like DVDs, apparently as well.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And those back in the day. That was a prize collection.
Yeah, I don't know which DVDs it was, but it was somebody's DVDs, some sort of DVDs. Yeah, maybe like a Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Maybe.
It's such like of a time.
I watched it recently. I said,
did you? How was it?
Yes, it was terrible. No,
I remember liking the books a lot more than
I loved the books. Yeah, I did like the movie. I mean, like the concept is like really fun, but then again, it's like it's so stupid when you have like Carmen was supposed to be like a thick girly.
Well, that's why they're magic pants, because they fit all of them.
Why? But we got like America Ferrera, and it's just like, okay, so you know, whatever.
Speaking of books, I just requested it from my library, but obviously there's a very long wait for it. Have you read the new Hunger Games like prequel thingy?
Nopers. No.
You were a Hunger Games girly though.
Yeah, like I read it. I never read the newest one. Like not the newest
Oh, the one that was like from President Snow's past or whatever. I listened to that one and I was like, it was fine. And now Sunrise on the Reaping is the new one, and that one's the one that follows Haymitch. So it's like I don't
think I care.
That's fine. I was just curious because I have like an 8-week wait at the library. So I've heard good things. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But today we're here to talk about Felicity, season 4, episode 6. Oops, Noel did it again. And just right off the top, Noel's a fucking asshole. Noel's a real fucking asshole. Like the audacity of this man, because he has to just, play the game of who's got a bigger dick with Ben. He's gonna ruin Felicity's birthday. Like, obviously, Felicity kind of has it coming, but still not great from Noel.
I loved it. Like, I truly did, because it was so messy, and
it's very messy.
Just like, once again, if we're going to watch this sort of stuff, then I really just feel like we need the best TV possible. And the best TV possible is for Noel to literally just fucking dunk on Ben. And the way he said was diabolical. And
my gosh.
I really put it in because it's like the argument that they have was so stupid. Like, obviously Noel is in the wrong. Like, he's so dumb because like he doesn't even give Ben the benefit of the doubt or like hear him out who this person was. And obviously Ben has like so much going on in his life at this current moment, and for Noel to be like, hey, you're like fucking cheating on Felicity, and Ben's like, literally no, like, please leave me alone, stop being obsessed with my girlfriend, like it's a fever dream, like it's something that like, you had her when you were a freshman or she was a freshman, and like, you gotta like lose. And the fact, what was the line, Jessica? It was,
so Ben says, you're never gonna have her, all right? And Noel says, I already did.
I already did. It was crazy. It was
Like,
crazy.
excuse
I
me?
already did. You're never gonna have her. I
And
already did. Yeah.
I love, let's jump right into it because I we have to talk about the Ben and Noel of it all because it's obviously like the biggest headline for this episode.
Mhm.
I loved that we got from Ben that like you're not fooling anyone. Like
Mhm.
stop with this best friend nonsense. You're
Mhm.
obviously still in love with her. Like you got it. Like you're graduated and yet you're still hanging around here because you're in love with her. Like how much of a loser are you to be so obsessed with my freaking girlfriend?
Yeah.
I love that we get acknowledgement that Ben is still like very much aware of what's going on, because if he doesn't say those things, we're kind of left wondering, does Ben understand exactly what's going on, or like is he really that naive? And it turns out no. He like is very well aware of what's going on, which makes me way more team Ben, because that means, Sarah, that if he knows that Noel is still in love with Felicity and like kind of just hanging around her, getting her a TA job so that she'll work right down the hall from him, like doing all of these things that are very manipulative, and that means he trusts Felicity. He shouldn't, but he does. And to me, that is like very much green flag, check mark, and column Ben. Good for Ben.
Well, I think it speaks a lot to Ben's confidence in himself, honestly, and then I guess also his relationship, but I don't think that he sees Felicity as somebody that would entertain Noel's advances. Once again, he is wrong, but that's how he sees it. And I also think that like he's confident in himself, like maybe to a point where he is I don't know. I'm not quite sure if like and also like I do enjoy the fact that he like knows Noel's game. And I think like he just says like in his mind is like, you're pathetic. Like, like you do what you want to like do, like you like try, but it's never gonna happen. Like she's never gonna choose you, Noel, over me, Ben, which once again is not, I mean, like it currently is correct, but so I think it's like a little bit of like arrogance, like a little bit of like confidence. It's a whole cocktail of things. And ultimately, like I mean, like he is, I don't know, like Felicity's not making any active decisions to leave Ben for Noel at this point in time. But I don't know. It's wild. And like Noel is just, I think he was just waiting for the right time to pounce. Like he was, I don't know, like how malicious do you think this was?
It felt okay, because here like the thing is doing this is going to really upset Felicity. Like, yes, you get your dig in at Ben, but ultimately what's going to happen is Felicity is going to be devastated and it's your fault. And so I think it really was a matter of like, he doesn't trust Ben. He thinks that Ben isn't good enough for Felicity. He thinks that Ben never appreciated her, has always taken her for granted, right? Like he spent the whole summer with her. I think in Noel's mind, he's a better fit for Felicity. And so he is like getting continuously upset that Felicity goes back to Ben time and time again. And that they're together instead of him and Felicity. And so I think he finally reaches his breaking point when he thinks wrongfully that Ben is cheating on Felicity. And so in his mind, he's trying to, knock Ben down a peg or two, but in reality, he's only hurting Felicity more. And
Mhm.
I just think he had reached his limit. I think things have been bubbling to the surface with Ben and Noel over a very long period of time, and they've had like pleasant conversations and deep, meaningful, more friendshipy conversations, but there's always been this tension underneath. And I think he couldn't contain it anymore. I think he had to be like, "Oh yeah, well, I fucked her." Like it's
Yeah.
so childish, right? But
Yeah.
I think he just reached a breaking point because I think, especially too, Sarah, when you take into account the fact that Noel is a year older, right? But Ben has always been this like popular guy. Like he is very much known as everyone loves Ben, like everyone's attracted to Ben. And Noel, as much as we can like, Scott Foley is very good looking. So we're trying to like have a little bit of like uh you know, uh not reading into it too much, but he's the nerdier type. He's like a
Yeah.
graphic designer, like, and he most recently struggled to get a job. And so I think he is having like a little bit of a lower self-esteem thing. And I think when Ben says to him, "You're never gonna have her," in Noel's mind, he's like, "Oh yeah? Oh yeah, motherfucker. Well, I already did." Like he's like,
Yeah.
"Ha ha."
Yeah.
So I don't think this was, especially because of the way we see him go to Felicity right after the fact. I don't think this was done with the intent of like breaking Ben and Felicity up. It really felt to me like Noel was just like had no self-control in that moment.
Yeah. I can see that. I do. And like I think that it was emotions running. I don't think it was like a preconceived plan.
Exactly. Because here's the thing, Sarah, like he comes at this. The reason he is so antagonistic with Ben in these moments is because he thinks instead of hanging out with Felicity on her birthday, Ben is cheating on Felicity. Of course, he doesn't know this is fact. He sees Ben hugging a woman. That means nothing. Like a hug isn't cheating. You have no idea who this woman even is. But he comes in so hot, and probably worth mentioning, Sarah, like he comes in so hot probably because of the whole Avery thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
history there. So he thinks he's so self-righteous about it. Like he very much thinks like, "Oh yeah, well, you're not good enough for Felicity, and why aren't you with her on her birthday, you monster?" And it's like, "No, shut the fuck up, because you have seriously no clue what Ben's going through." And poor Ben, truly. Like, because not only, Sarah, is he now dealing with like this whole thing with, oh my God, did Felicity and Noel sleep together? But his fucking dad is like dying.
Yeah, his dad has liver failure. So much so that apparently it's well, with organ failure, we talked about this a bit with like Julie's
Yes.
father, who had kidney failure. Starts with an organ, and then as time goes on, the more it progresses, your other organs break down. So like your mind, your heart, like
Mhm.
everything starts breaking down. So I guess we're getting to that point. And so much so that it sounds like he at first he wasn't eligible for a donation anymore. He got taken off the list because he was too far advanced. But that did that
Well,
change throughout the episode?
I think, and maybe I'm incorrect, but I also thought the reason that he was removed from the transplant list was because the reason he needs a new liver is because of his alcoholism.
I don't think that that's what matters. I'm not quite sure. Like, I think that, like, not a cause, but like if you are on the transplant list and you continue to drink, maybe
Oh,
you
here we
can.
go. So sorry, I'm reading now. So his liver was completely shot. 20 years of drinking scotch will do that to you. They took him off the transplant list because they didn't think he would survive the
Yeah,
surgery.
got it. Yeah.
So I thought, because I know there's like there's tricky stuff with, if it is due to alcoholism, that like
I
the
only
reason you
think
need
I
one. But
I think it's only if you continue while because there's like a
oh, if you're not
process.
sober, right?
Yeah,
Because is
during.
he, how many days sober he's been sober for like a little bit.
Yeah.
um
I don't think I truly don't think that
67 days.
it
So
matters
2 months.
how, like, why initially. It's just that, like, once you are put on the list, do you take the proper health precautions to
Right.
stay on the list and be a good candidate for a organ donation
Right.
is my how I read it,
Right.
honestly.
And so the whole, so Ben finds this out because someone that Ben's father was a, not a mentor, what is it called in
Sponsor.
sobriety? Sponsor. this woman, Ben's father was her sponsor. So she calls him and says that, he's in the hospital. Ben doesn't really understand like why she even called him. And it turns out Ben's father wants him to be his like medical proxy. He wants him to be the one making the decisions because, like you were saying, Sarah, when you have liver failure, like your organs start to shut down, and that can really mess with your mind and your ability to make decisions, like sound reasoned decisions. So Ben's father wants him to be his, medical person who makes those decisions. And he says to Ben, I don't want to be hooked up to all these tubes. Like, he wants to remain sober. He doesn't want pain meds. He doesn't want morphine. He doesn't want anything. He says, I don't want to be kept alive on a machine. And he wants Ben to be the one responsible for that. And I have to say, Sarah, I was very conflicted about this.
Yeah, big
Because
topic. This seems like an Everwood topic, honestly.
it does. Everyone loves to tackle these sorts of things.
Yeah, like almost annoyingly so.
Every episode, they're like, "What's the big topic this week?"
Yeah, when I go into Everwood, that is going to be my main takeaway. To on When a Discoverable podcast. Is just that what humongous topic can we discuss today that is like it's like a major hot topic. Okay, so and I think like I mean like I think that there's like two parts of this. Like there's the he is in so much pain that even to get through the X amount of time that he needs to fight this infection or fight this whatever liver failure, but he wants to stay sober, so he doesn't want to take morphine. That's one part of it. And then there's this whole other conversation of when he gets to the point of no return, how long are we going to keep him on life support? And I think that those are like two different very big topics. Once again, like thinking about Everwood, and like Amy, is that her name? Amy's boyfriend, Connor, is that his name?
Colin, yeah.
And like, I mean, I have like opinions on that like I don't know if it's super, I don't know, it's so bad, right? Like I don't want to like share my opinions on this, like, because I think like the nice answer is like, yes, we will keep anybody alive and spend any much money to make sure that like for any prolonged period of time to make sure that your like person stays alive. But in reality, like, I don't know. I honestly feel like I don't know. It's so bad. I don't even want to say it because
I'll go first. I'll go first because I think we should preface with saying that like every individual case is different, and I think it depends a lot. However, where I personally land is like it should be the person who's going through its decision. And if they do not want to be kept alive on machines, that's their prerogative. Like I wouldn't want that. I mean, if there was no hope that, I would be coherent eventually, I wouldn't want that for myself. But my biggest issue, Sarah, and this could be controversial to say, but I'm going to say it because I really do fully believe this. I feel like it was unfair of his father to put this on him. Like, I do feel that way because when you look at their relationship, Ben has had an almost non-existent relationship with his father. And when he has had a relationship with his father, generally hasn't been very good. Like, he's been an alcoholic for many, many, many years. He was pretty absent in Ben's life. And when he was around, it wasn't good because he was drunk. And on top of that, let's remember the last time Ben and his father interacted, Ben's father kissed his girlfriend. Like, what? And I understand, alcoholism is a disease and his father struggled with that for a very long time and he's sober now. But for Ben, looking at this from Ben's perspective, how many times has this happened where his father has gotten sober for like a little bit and then gone back to the well, right? And so to put this rest this on Ben's shoulders, Ben, someone who is 19, 20 years old, be making these decisions at 19 or 20 for your father who you have a very, very difficult relationship with, to put it lightly, it feels unfair to put that on, to rest that on Ben's shoulders. Like, I don't know what Ben's dad's relationship is like with his, I presume they're not married anymore. I don't know that we ever
Hi-
got,
I assume that was his ex-wife.
yeah. So I don't know what his relationship with his ex-wife is like, if they are exes. But I feel like that's who he should go to. I think this is way too much to ask of a 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid who you have a very difficult relationship with, even on
Yeah,
a good day.
I suppose. I think that, like, in an ideal world, Ben's dad would have a sibling that could help make this decision,
Sure.
or uh, parents and somebody. Um, of course, it's also like, obviously Ben's parents, I think, are divorced. I think, like, the sad reality is that it often does fall on to the children, or like the young adults having to make this decision. I think, like, it's a very real thing, and I think that, like, it's a very hard thing to morally come to terms with as well, because a lot of the times it's like such a big decision. I think that how you led is probably where we should go. Like, I don't know. This is why wills, or death plans are important. Like, I think that writing this up and making your wishes be heard, even more so, because my first thing is like, oh, like, talk to um like your partner about like what your plans are. But I think, like, having it written down somewhere is absolutely vital, because
Yeah.
then nobody has to make a big decision like that if they're not comfortable. So definitely having your wishes. Did he, obviously he said that he didn't want to be given pain medication, but did he say
Yeah.
that, like, if he becomes unresponsive, he wants to be kept alive? Is
Yeah,
that what he
he
said?
he he said, "I'm going to do this sober, no pain meds, no morphine, no nothing, and if my heart stops or I can't breathe anymore, I do
Mhm.
not wanna be kept alive on a machine."
Okay, so then he needs to write that down. Tell Ben to bring him his laptop. He writes it down. He
Mhm.
hits print. It goes to the nurse's station, and then it gets filed into his file. Like, while
Yeah.
he's still, like, cognizant. Like, I
Yeah.
think, and I think that he did clearly make his, like, wishes, like, well known. So
Yeah.
I think that, like, as long as Ben like sticks to his father's wishes, which obviously later on he's, like, very much struggling with, because his father is noticeably in like huge amounts of pain. But once again, like, that was his choice. I think that, like, if the person is, like, aware and, like, cognizant enough to write it down and, like, notify his, like, doctors, then, like, that's what should happen.
I agree. It just is like, it's just so much to put on Ben,
Yeah,
especially
it
I
happens
thought
all
it.
the time. It happens all the time
Oh,
to
it
people
I'm
that are
sure it
not ready
does.
for it.
I'm sure it does. I think it's just like the way Ben phrases it to Felicity when he's telling her all of this is like, "I'm tired of cleaning up my dad's messes." Like, he always leaves his messes for other people to clean up. That
Yeah.
is like a perspective I hadn't thought of, where it was, how many times has he caused a problem or done something that Ben and his mom have had to fix? Like, and now he's being asked to take literally someone's life in his hands, someone who he has a very complicated relationship with. And on top of that, Sarah, he has Lauren here, who his dad had sponsored in an AA, telling him like, he's like a father to me. Like, that is brutal to hear, as someone who is literally the child of this man, to hear that like he had a relationship with a different person that felt more familial than
Yeah.
like Ben's own relationship with his father. Like, I think it's easy to say like, okay, Ben's dad said he didn't want machines and he told Ben that, and so that should be the letter of the law and all of that stuff. But like, just the history of the relationship with these two makes it so much more complicated. And the fact that, like, you know, I mean, Sarah, neither of us know how we would necessarily react in this situation, but like the idea of like Ben's dad just like dying and him never getting the chance to like maybe fix that relationship now that his dad actually is sober, that's a really tough decision to put on Ben, to be like, you have to let your father die now. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you're essentially asking someone to choose whether or not you live or die. And I know it's really easy to say, no, you're asking them to fulfill your wishes. Like you're asking them to just let them die. But I still think when you are standing in front of a green button and a red button and you're forced to be the one to push the button,
Mhm.
kind of feels like you're killing that person, even if it's what they
Yeah.
want, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Ugh, like I definitely agree. It is like a big choice. I also just think that I don't know. Like the alternative is like I just like I keep going back to like freaking Colin's family. It's just like where's the end of the rope, right? Like what
When do
like
you unplug? Yeah.
yeah, like and I've like sadly seen this happen in real life, not in just in Everwood, but where I know like somebody that I know was on life support for like 3+ months and his family was just like holding on like and the realistic thing was like it was very minuscule for him to come out of it and they just like kept him on and I was just like it must be torturous, absolutely torturous because like the families were like at the hospital like nearly every day, like
Mhm.
they were being told that there's little to no hope because morally and in like the eyes of like their church they like didn't feel like it was right to do so. And I remember thinking I was like that like could never be me, like if it was up to me, like don't waste the like the emotional energy, don't waste the like financial like your because it costs like thousands of dollars to take care of somebody in a coma every
Yeah.
single day. Like I don't know, like I just feel like I'm not saying like Ben should be pulling the plug himself from the ventilator out the wall. But I'm just saying, like, if his father doesn't want to be kept on, that's what he asked for, then yeah, like, I don't know. I mean, it'll
And
be
the
hard.
thing, I don't know that I, because I don't know that I also quite understood the medical side of it. Like, was his hope, okay, we'll plug him into the ventilator and then maybe he'll be okay enough to get a transplant? Like, is that the goal?
I mean, I don't know because I think that I'm coming from this from a point of like kidney disease and like once like all the organs start shutting down, like you eventually don't become like a viable candidate to accept it anymore. Like
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I'm envisioning it, but there
Well,
definitely
because
seemed to be some sort of hope throughout the episode at some point.
yeah, the doctor was saying, because when Ben wanted to talk to the doctor, he says, can we put him back on the transplant list? And the doctor says, probably not. And Ben says, probably or definitely. Is there a chance? And the doctor says, there is a chance, but it's very small.
But
So,
what
like,
yeah, like I'm like curious in their mind how I guess like if he
what are the
comes out of
circumstances?
yeah,
Like, how,
if
how?
he comes out of this episode, if he takes care of himself, but the longer that you're in need of a vital organ, the more the sicker you get. So I'm not quite sure. Like I obviously we're not doctors, but it is like very big. It's like it's a lot for Ben to go through. It's a lot for like this rando person that's like kind of giving her opinion that like I personally don't really feel like I don't know. I don't really feel like super comfy that she's like giving her advice, even though like she might be the person that currently knows him best. But like that kind of felt weird. The fact that like it just so happens to be Felicity's birthday and he doesn't have the capacity to celebrate her. And then after all of this, like he comes home and then he has like Noel puffing his chest out at him. And then eventually like admits to having relations with his girlfriend that he wasn't aware of. Like It's just like not Ben's day. Absolutely. It is not Ben's day.
No, definitely not his
He
day.
needs to go back to bed and try to start the day over because it is just like
Yeah.
horrors on horrors. Truly, I feel really bad for him, and I feel like a little sad for him too because like. Of course, like him and Noel, like would never really were on the same page, but like they were kind of trying. They were like playing the basketball together. Ben got help from Noel to drop the classes. Like, he doesn't have a lot of support all the time, but and doesn't he live with Noel still? Like, what the fuck is going to
Yes,
happen?
that's the thing. They all still live together,
All
which is like just
together.
even more
So
fucked.
it's gonna be like, okay, so Ben, like, I mean, Sean's gonna have to kick out Noel, but Noel's the only one that remotely maybe even pays him money, so he
He's the
can't
one
do
who's the
that.
richest
And
now.
then,
Yeah.
but Ben doesn't want to move in with Felicity because she just got cheated on. I don't know.
Yeah. It's
Why?
a very big mess because also Nola's the one who lent Sean all that money, so he
Yeah.
can't exactly kick him out.
Why does Richard not live in the loft? Because he doesn't get paid to be like a
He's not
full-time
important
person.
enough.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So yeah, that it's a lot going on with Ben, and I really felt bad for him that he was like having to go through all of this while also trying to celebrate Felicity's birthday. And like they had all these plans. He got her this sled and they were going to take a trip and like I don't know, go up to like some mountain or whatever and go sledding. And he really wants to do this, but then of course everything with his father like takes a turn and he can't. And it's just brutal because you kind of feel for Felicity in that it's her birthday and she should be celebrated and get to have her day.
No, but
But
she has 500 other friends that can celebrate her.
exactly. And the other thing going on with Felicity is we get the new professor has taken over the class that she's TAing. This is the same professor that turned her down for this like fellowship position thing. And so like he is a little harsh on her as a TA because she is like, well, this wasn't the assignment, but it looks
Yeah.
great. Like she's very positive and he doesn't really like that. And immediately, Sarah, I recognized someone in this episode. If you watched Basketball Twins, aka One Tree Hill, you'd recognize Haley, who
Who?
is the student.
Who? I don't know. Do we have a
The
picture?
the one with the curly hair who then comes back to his office later and they're doing a little something.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Felicity, what's the girl's name?
Well, it's Haley in One Tree Hill. I have
Okay,
no
what's
idea what her
real
name
name?
was in this
Haley. Okay,
episode.
what's Haley? What is Haley in one?
Bethany Joy Lenz is the actor's name.
Bethany Joy Lenz. Haley. Okay, whatever. My brain is breaking. Okay, so basketball. She was here, and I
Yeah.
remember her. Was she giving Bethany? Was she giving Felicity like a hard time at one
No,
point?
it was the opposite because Felicity was like, "Oh, you did a great job. Like this is really good. Like this is a spoon or whatever the heck." And the professor's like, "Yeah, but it was supposed to be a self-portrait, so it's not that good."
You know what? I was thinking of remember that there was like a girl that was giving Felicity a hard time in the episode where she comes in her dress. You know the
Oh,
dress.
yeah. She
And then
wasn't
there was
in
like
I
what there was one girl and uh she's like I don't appreciate like what you're doing for the feminist cause. You know that girl?
it,
There was that girl.
yeah, I
I
don't
got
think it was
confused. My
yeah, it
wires
wasn't
got
her
crossed.
because this is the first time I believe we've met this character. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, and it's like this one was got really interesting because then Felicity's like, "Oh, I'd love to like pick your brain about how I could be a better TA." The professor invites her to lunch, which I appreciated Elena pointing out as like, "This is a red flag. Like, why can't he do it in class? Like, why, it's not the biggest red flag. It's kind of like an orange flag of like, okay, warning signs a little bit."
It's a business lunch.
Exactly. If you want to phrase it that way, it doesn't sound so bad. But
Yep.
then during said business lunch, the professor touches her hand
Not
and
good. No.
not good. And kudos to Felicity for telling him, listen, like, I wasn't super comfy with that. And he's like, no, nor should you be, blah, 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 blah. 2 seconds later, in walks Haley from One Tree Hill, and he is most assuredly fucking her.
What is wrong with these people?
There's this, I maintain my theory / stance that there is not a single teacher / professor that is good, nice, any of these things across every show we've watched except Boy Meets World.
Well, yes. Didn't we say a couple of episodes ago, oh, it'll be so nice for this professor
Yes!
to work with Felicity, to work under such a good place for her to learn under somebody. Like, she'll be able to advance that way. I guess not. This is like a real epidemic at this school of teachers
Yes.
being way too predatory towards their students. It's really awful. I don't really know what to do with this. And I don't know why we're rehashing a storyline that we didn't like in the first place. Like, weren't we
what I'm
already
saying.
here?
We did this with Elena, and not only did we do this with Elena, but like we did this with Elena, and then we brought it back up way later to address it. So in my opinion, we didn't need another one of these storylines. It would have been great to have a single professor who is willing to help a student with like furthering their goals, their, whatever they're passionate about, and
Mhm.
not try to get in their pants. Like, that would be fabulous.
Do we need to have a protest and like the tagline could be like no more rapey professors?
Please, enough with this.
I think that the people that go to protests are like the wittiest people. The things
with
that
their
they come
signs and
up
stuff?
with on their signs is so impressive. I
Yeah.
would never be that person. I have like nothing. I have like no witty words to say. But there are
Mhm.
some people that are word geniuses that can construct the perfect sign. I
Yeah.
think that we need this at fake NYU. I think that this is a huge problem that they need to sort out. Truly, honestly, it's a real
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, I really don't care.
Well,
Like,
that's the thing. I was excited for Felicity to potentially get like a mentor and like have someone that will help her grow as an artist. And now they've ruined it. And not even in the, like, Sarah, I think the thing is I think we can both agree that we're here for the drama. So as much as I like, get on Noel's case for being a dickweed, well, at least he's causing drama that's like exciting and fun to watch. But this professor storyline is neither of those things. It's not fun to watch. It's disgusting. And we've done it before. So it's just recycled material,
Yeah, absolutely. I think like that's the worst part of it. I mean, I don't think that there's going to be a show that we cover without an inappropriate, if we keep doing high school / college shows, it's an easy storyline. There's always going to be something in every single college show that I've seen. Like, I feel as though that there's some sort of storyline. Sex Lives of College Girls, have they done that? Probably. I can't remember. That's one that I'm kind of blanking on.
I think yes, they did actually. In the very first season, that was like a main story, was one of the students was in a relationship with like the assistant coach on the soccer team or whatever.
Yes. I remember. Yep. I was thinking about her, but I don't know why like assistant coach doesn't really.
Well, it was also in season 1. Like, it was very early in the show's run as well. So
like,
yeah, this is just
it's easy.
Recycled.
It's easy. It's like the guaranteed post-it on the wall of storylines. Like,
exactly.
If we don't have anything else going on, like, let's take this sticky down. Like, we can rehash it. I just don't know why we have to do it more than once, because I think that it was important for Elena's storyline because she eventually said something about it. Like, she was like, she didn't want to at first, and then it like escalated, and they had the full like meeting, like the court meeting,
the board meeting thing.
Yeah, they had that, and it was taken care of. So I don't know. So here we go again. What do you think Felicity is going to do? Do you think that she's going to quit her TA-ship? Do you think that she's going to say something? Is this going to be like Felicity's story arc when doesn't have to do with one of the boys?
I almost wonder if she goes to the student first and is like, are you okay? You know, and maybe loops in Elena because Elena has experience with this, and also she was already having a conversation with Elena about it, so Elena's in the know. Maybe that's where we go, but like truthfully, like why is this what we're doing? Like it's very frustrating when we're doing a storyline that's like, really? Like, can't we just be prepping Felicity for her like career outside of school instead of
Yeah.
having another creepy professor hitting on students? Like, enough already.
Really. I think that there's a new college show coming out. Have you heard about this?
What's it called?
New college show. Maybe it's on HBO, maybe. I don't know. Nope, not Sex Life of College Girls. I said not that. Not that. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it
Yeah.
out. But I'm curious if this is going to be like another one. College Hill, is that it? No, I don't know. The
Yeah.
Line. I'm gonna have to figure this out. I have no
Yeah,
clue.
let me know.
Yeah.
But let's stay on Elena because she has some other stuff going on. These two freshmen who are really annoying go to Noel as their guidance counselor and are like, listen, we need housing, we need somewhere to live. And so he basically calls whoever and is like, stick them anywhere, wherever's open. And you know where it's open? In Felicity and Elena's suite because Megan presumably now lives with her husband, Sean, so she's not living there. Molly literally fell off the face of the planet and no one cared. So they have two open bedrooms. So these women move in and immediately start touching Elena's shit. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Gosh, I really at first thought that we had seen these girls before because they reminded me of like the Bopsy twins
I
that
thought the same thing that Julie had to room
yeah.
with.
And they're
The
not?
cheerleader ones,
Are they
right?
not? Are they
They're
not?
not, no, because those girls were freshmen and that was like season 1. So
Okay,
these are new
the
freshmen annoying girls.
sure. The first episode or the first time I watched this, I really did think that it was the same girls and I was like, "Oh, look at them. They're reusing characters. That's so fun." I guess they're not it. So, yeah, I think that this is it's so weird, but it's also very dorm, but they're not in a dorm. I guess they're in like school apartments because that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like when you have like an open bed, then it really is one day you can have a temporary single and the next day you come back to your dorm and you just see people shit there and you're like, who the fuck is this? Like
Yeah.
you're not notified, you're not like asked about it, there's no like roommate interview to see if you're a good match. Like there really is just like you come home and or you're like told by the RA somebody's moving in and you're like, who's moving in? Are they a
Yeah.
sociopath? Are they gonna kill me? Are they gonna steal my underwear? Are they gonna move my shit? Like who's moving in? And I feel like it's so invasive in a way.
Yeah. Well,
At
this is
least
why you get off campus housing because even like you said, they're in the college's apartment. So I guess that the college can just be like, here's your new roommates.
yeah.
And you know, Elena hates this. She's now sharing a bathroom. These girls like hog the bathroom. They stole her suede jacket. And freaking Richard is in heaven because he's hanging out with these women all day long every day. And it turns out they just want to eat some Noel dick. That's what they want.
I mean, Noel's hot and he's currently single.
Sure.
So I'm not gonna lie, seems like a good choice for them.
If only they knew how he stalked women and was obsessed with them.
They might like it because they're kind of stalkers. They are getting in with Richard so that they could have the in with Noel. Not a terrible idea, honestly.
Yeah, and but all hell breaks loose when Elena is leaving Noel a voicemail, basically being like, I hate you. I'm gonna ruin your life. Get the Bopsy twins out of my apartment. And Richard walks in and he starts blabbing his mouth about Elena, or excuse me, Felicity and Noel. And
Mhm.
Elena is like, oh my gosh, that's on the joint answering machine that for Ben, Megan, and Noel and
Yeah.
Sean, all of these characters. So they have to go over and delete the voicemail because back in the day we had voicemail machines.
It worked better than I thought it was going to do. Like I really thought that it was going to come out. It was going to be like a disaster. That's how it was going to get revealed. Like stupid Richard and Elena. Like how dare you?
Mhm.
But no, they kind of were like pretty sleuthy. I mean, a little sus, but not enough for
Yeah.
Megan and Sean to be like, you better tell me what you were doing. Just they were just like, what the frick is happening? And then they kind of just went along about their day, probably because they're in a usual Megan and Sean drama. And I mean, like, they did a pretty good job, and I think like that's probably the move. I don't know. I mean, I think like a bad answering message is pretty scary, but everyone's had
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, they handled it as best they seemingly could, especially because like Sean and Megan, like you said, are super distracted because they are going forward with like making outfits to sell that are, you know, designs by Megan and Sean, whatever. Megan is still dressing like Jackie O, which is kind of wild. And
Mhm.
they need to come up with a name for their company. That's the big drama this episode. Megan wants Megalomania or something like that. Megalomania. And Sean wants Sean's shirts. And
Both bad, both
they're
like
both so
unsatisfactory.
bad. And
Yeah.
then they decide to do the whole like Brangelina thing and just combine their names to be Schmegan.
Okay, I don't know much in this world, but I think that that gives me the ick, that word.
I'm kind of surprised we haven't, because we've never really called them by a ship name. We've always just said Sean and Megan. So I'm kind of surprised we haven't said Schmegan earlier
It's
than now.
because it's really close to something very disgusting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think you do. You're
I
not
don't think I do
dirty.
either.
Okay. You've never heard of schmegma
Oh, yes. Okay. No, I know what you're talking
or
about now.
smegma. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. No, I know what you
It,
mean. Yep.
it's penis gunk.
I know. Yes. Thank you.
I'm just saying, I'm just helping the people out.
I
So
I would have preferred it on your gunk.
yeah. I mean, what
Um,
else am I supposed it's what else am I supposed to
No,
say?
yeah, it is too close to that, and it's just like it doesn't describe what the brand is. It's like it's
Yeah.
terrible branding, and they're trying to make these like all these outfits. It's whatever. It's who cares.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty stupid. I'm glad that they're working on a business, but I really like, once again, catch me if I care, and which I do not. Like I kind of just feel like it's just a bunch of like stupid shit going on over here. And
Exactly.
we're definitely coming into the weeds of um a fourth and final season of a TV show
Yes.
where we don't know what to do. All the sticky notes have been used and we don't know what's happening. So we have to come up with some stupid ass shit.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what this feels like. Again, like give me the Ben Noel Felicity drama. Don't give me the Schmegan drama. Like this is dumb.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Sarah, do you have anyone in mind right off the bat that deserves our award this episode?
No. I'm joking.
Absolutely not.
I'm joking, Ben. I think Ben.
I think Ben, I mean, like, while I disagree with the decision that he ultimately made regarding his father, I think he's also just like he's getting more of a sympathy point than anything else because of literally all the shit he's going through this
That's
episode.
true. I do feel bad for him.
Yeah. We do have some feedback. So we got an email from Jamie. And she says, before I give my thoughts on this week's episode, I wanted to talk about something you said in last week's podcast about the show running out of stories to tell. Look
Oops.
at that. The synergy.
Jamie always is. Jamie is always the third person.
Jamie
in this
reads our
podcast.
minds. Yeah.
How do you know, Jamie? How do you know?
I honestly think this started last season. Season 3 was so strange and disjointed. They had Ben's father kiss Felicity, Felicity getting wasted at the frat over Julie leaving. Leon, Javier asking Felicity to donate an egg, and the shooting at the Christmas party. More than running out of story, I feel like they lost their vision for the show, and I believe that has more to do with J.J. Abrams being less involved with the show to create and work on his next show, Alias. Seasons 3 and 4 seem to be a completely different show from seasons 1 and 2. And while I have my issues with season 4 and we are only 6 episodes in, I already prefer it to season 3 because it at least focused on the main characters and not characters I don't care about, like Molly, James, and Avery.
That's very true. That's very, very true. I would say that like peak Felicity, and I this is probably like the coldest take that's ever been, is season 2. Like season 2 Felicity is probably leaps and bounds the best season of Felicity. I think that you like season 1, but I still feel like season 1 Felicity was pretty unbearable for me. So
Yeah.
maybe I would feel differently if I watched it again. And it's a shorter season, so is it? Maybe it's not. I don't remember. It was a billion years ago.
I think it was Buffy that was shorter.
Oh.
My main issue with season 4 is the Felicity cheating on Ben with Noel and lying about it because I think it's just so out of character for Felicity. I know some will say it's not because of the Eli situation, but here is the difference. When Felicity slept with Eli, she was single. Noel had broken up with her and left to go be with Hannah. And when Noel came back saying he made a mistake, she immediately told him what she did with Eli. Now, when she slept with Noel, her and Ben were not broken up. Yes, they just fought, but Ben did not break up with her. He just left her to go play basketball to cool down. He always plays basketball in the cool down. So I think they're very different situations, plus all the lying Felicity is doing when it has been established many times throughout the show that she is not a good liar. However, even with all of that, I'm liking season 4 better than season 3. So
what a positive queen.
We love Jamie. And then we got an email from Jamie about this episode. But yeah, Jamie, generally, I would say I agree with the sentiments. Like, I feel like seasons 1 and 2 were the best. Season 4, we're floundering a bit. And season 3, it was like, who gives a fuck about Molly? Truly, that is what I will remember about season 3 is how much I hated Molly. So Jamie also sent us an email about this episode. So Felicity cheated on Ben with Noel, which is wrong. And then she chose to lie about it, which is also wrong. So in a way, she does deserve to have it all blow up in her face the way it did. However, Noel being the one to tell Ben was completely fucked up. In the second episode of this season, when Felicity was contemplating telling Ben or not, Noel encouraged her not to. He also told her that they could just forget what happened. And after she went back to Ben, he told her he didn't want them sleeping together to change their friendship. Again, I just want to make it clear I'm not trying to victimize Felicity here. She made her choices and deserves to receive the consequences of her actions. I just don't think it was Noel's place to say anything, considering he made it very clear he would support any decision she made and has continued to show up to seek her friendship. It bothered me that when Felicity asked him why he would tell Ben, he just said, I don't know, which is total bull. He told Ben because Ben called Noel out and shined a light on how pathetic Noel has been towards Felicity. Noel had the perfect opportunity to distance himself from Felicity when he got the inheritance from Natalie. He could have gotten his own apartment and some cushion money so he could have waited to find a better job, but that is clearly not what he wanted. He continues to try and be Felicity's savior, first by solving her tuition and then by confronting Ben when he thinks he's cheating. If Ben were cheating, then that would be Felicity's problem. She chose Ben over Noel continuously, first at the end of freshman year, after the Avery stuff, and after sleeping with Noel. It's not Noel's job to be her savior. At best, he should have told Felicity what he saw and let her deal with it. At this point, Noel's feelings for Felicity come off as an unhealthy obsession and not actual love. Everything Ben said to Noel, while mean, was the truth. Damn, Jamie, take him down.
Truly no lies detected. However, my stance is like, if we didn't have all this shit, then what would we have? Therefore,
but that's the best part about judging these shitty characters.
Noel might be the best TV character of all time purely because he is hot, number one, very hot, very kissable lips. And number two is just like a total asshat. But he's our asshat.
That's the thing. I'm loving the drama that Noel is bringing to the show, but you can bet your bottom freaking dollar that I'm gonna rake him over these coals for his shitty ass behavior. Like, because what he's doing is super shitty, and he tries to play it off like, oh, I was just going to protect you, Felicity,
Mhm.
because I thought Ben was cheating. Well, sir, maybe you should have done a little bit more fucking research. How about that? How about you
Okay.
figure out who this Lauren character
Yeah.
is first?
Yeah, we're like a quarter into, or maybe a third into the season. At this point in
Mhm.
time, do you think that she's going to end up with Noel, Ben, or neither? I'm still on neither, but
Yeah.
I still I think it's going to be in Ben. I do.
I do think that, like, I'm with you on the neither thing in terms of, because we know there's like 2 finales or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they'll do like Ben for the first finale and
Yeah.
then neither for the second
Yeah.
finale. Like, I think you're right in that we will have the eventuality of a neither, but the original finale will, like, she'll choose one of them.
She's going to choose one, and then it's going to be like 5 years into the future, and it's
Yes.
like she's like,
Very much
Ben,
Dawson's Creek.
Ben,
Yeah.
you keep getting sued all the time for being a shitty doctor. I told you you should be an EMT. We're never going to work out, and I want a divorce. And then she's like, and then she turns into Carrie Bradshaw.
Oh
Fact.
my god. Wow.
Yeah. Curly
Yeah.
hair. It tracks.
It's there. I
Yeah.
think that with the Ben and Noel of it all right now, we are now in the hub of Felicity and Ben are going to break up and be broken up for a little bit.
Yeah.
And
then
maybe
we
she
have
fucks Noel a
some-
couple times.
Yeah, Felicity and Noel time, which gives us enough time to swing back to Ben, which is
We have so much time to do that. Yeah, because we're on next episode will be episode 7 and there are 22 episodes. So much time to be able to swing back and forth between these gentlemen for
yeah,
sure.
maybe we'll be back and forth a couple of more times. Oh,
Yeah.
she goes with Ben. All right, she breaks up with Ben, gets with Noel, then gets back together with Ben. Then we finish the show with Noel, and then we finish the show again
Does
alone.
anyone ever fuck Richard? Like, are we ever gonna see him actually, like,
I don't
have
care.
a person?
Why do we care? Why do we care?
DBK probably cares.
He does. He has the perfect girl, and it's Princess Leia girl. He just needs to find
Right.
her again.
Yeah, he does need to find her and take off his Darth Vader mask.
Sexy pumpkin and
Sexy pumpkin, yes.
sexy pumpkin.
Perfect. Okay, well, let's get into our other feedback that we have. We did get a voicemail from Temmie, so let's see what he has to say.
Hi, ladies. You mentioned Slutty Pumpkin from How I Met Your Mother last podcast episode.
Look at that.
Who was played by Katie Holmes. And James Vanderbeek also had memorable moments on the show separately.
That's wild.
With Robin. So Dawson was Mr. Brooks's power of attorney. Pierce Hawthorne on Community was purportedly at death's door and was issuing his bequeathments in the second season.
Yes.
Of course, Troy met LeVar Burton. And on One Tree Hill, nearly every character landed in the hospital, except for Luke's mom.
Yes!
But she left the show midway, so she didn't have a chance.
So true, though.
A dog ate the basketball twins' father's transplant heart.
It did!
After I heard that plot line from a friend while we were eating dinner at a wedding, I started watching One Tree Hill.
Temmie, you're an
and
icon.
Haley from One Tree Hill was Gretchen, the art student who was helping
Gretchen,
Dr.
that's her name.
Carvalho at the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So Nathan and Haley was very consistent couple on One Tree Hill, even though they had a bad beginning. Anyway, 2 questions. Are there elements of these scenarios that you like in these end-of-life major illness plot lines? Are there plots from other shows, movies that come to mind regarding end-of-life? Not veterinarian. Dog groomer. Happy birthday, Felicity. Thanks. Bye.
Somebody said that, but I don't remember who.
Oh, I have no idea.
Forget.
End of life care stuff.
A Walk to Remember.
Oh, God.
Never been done better.
Oh, I fucking hated that movie.
Why?
Oh, stupid.
No, so good.
They fell in love within like 2 days.
Mandy Moore, Shane West. Mandy Moore sings that song.
Yes, Mandy Moore is an icon. Stupid
Tears
Cupid
forever.
is a bop.
No,
and
no.
From
Stupid
Princess.
Cupid. Yeah,
I know it's from Princess Diaries, but I'm just saying it is a bop.
Yeah.
I mean, I find it difficult sometimes with these sorts of storylines because it's like 9 times out of 10, this is how it goes, where it's like the person who's actually like dying or whatever has certain wishes and the people don't want to adhere to those wishes, which I just think is like very difficult to watch. But the dog eating the heart moment in One Tree Hill is fucking insane, and I haven't thought about it in a very long time. So thank you so much, Tammy, for bringing that back to my memory because, oh baby, that was so stupid and funny.
What are your thoughts on me watching Basketball Twins, but I do it from the last episode and do it in reverse order?
That's stupid. That's my thought. Why would you do it in the reverse order?
This is my idea, and I'm just putting stuff out there.
Wow. I will say, and I know you've been told this before, there is a specific character on One Tree Hill that I think would inevitably become like a top 10 TV character for you.
Well, is she in the last episode? Because sign me up.
Probably. I really don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. Maybe not. Maybe. All right. Let's listen to what DBK has to say about this episode.
What up, though, ladies? Oops, Noel did it again. So this was the moment I was waiting for Noel to like tell Ben off. In my brain, I like love this moment. I like love when like Noel's just like, no, we're not talking about a freshman year crush. And Ben like puts it all together. It's like, yeah, you deserve that shit, kind of, Ben. Like, don't. I get Noel had like a terrible read, but like Noel was like asking a question. I know Ben's having a bad day, but like to be fair, Noel like did try to like ask the question of like, hey, like what's going on? Just because I know Noel's gonna take heat and blah blah blah, but like it's not his secret to keep. Felicity shouldn't have asked him to keep the secret. So for me, it's not a big deal that he tells Ben off because Ben was being like a jerk. Like Ben is always being a jerk. What else? Yeah, so the secret's out. Ben knows. We're gonna have to see. Oh, well, since this was like such like a downer episode, I'm gonna ask because we're in the final season. Who's been your like most surprise? Like I don't know, most surprising or like who to you is the biggest guest star they've had on the show so far? Like, is it John Ritter for you guys, or is it like Jane Kaminsky? Michael Pena's been on, like, you know what I mean? Tyra Banks. Like, what's been like the most surprising so far? And speaking of like cameos, we have Dr. Cuddy is the AA sponsor. She's from House. So I have like the schoolgirl image when House is like tripping out on the subway burned into my brain, and then the girl that the professor is seeing is Basketball Wives' wife.
Basketball Wives.
Anyways, till next week, ladies. Peace.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay. I think biggest guest star for me is different than most surprising. Like, I was shocked when Tyra Banks just showed up on the show. That to me was like the most shocking. But I think the biggest, I don't know, John Ritter, like, I loved John Ritter growing up, like watching him on Three's Company and then Eight Simple Rules. So I think probably John Ritter. Jennifer Garner is another one, though obviously she wasn't as famous at the time. What do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, I was gonna say Jennifer Garner is like, I mean, obviously they've had a lot of really good guest stars, but Keenan was like such a surprise.
Keenan, yes.
Donald Faison was a huge surprise. I enjoyed seeing both of them. So it's been really fun to see different people throughout this series. I'm like, oh, like that, like Monica was there. Like there's just been a lot of people, like a lot of, wasn't like somebody from Gilmore Girls on it too? I don't know. Anyway.
If they were. It's not one of the main characters. I
All
don't
right.
think.
Well, anyway,
But you could be right. I could just be not
I've never
remembering.
seen Gilmore Girls. I could just be bullshitting.
Yes. But yeah, that's our feedback. If you want to send in feedback, shit90spod.com, shit90spod@gmail.com. You know where to go. Sarah, season 4, episode 7. I'm excited for this title. It is The Storm.
Oh no. Okay, so they're like, there's a storm. They're all locked together. It's a disaster.
I hope so. You know,
Well,
I love
we
a bottle
did that.
episode.
We did that. We did that
Of
last.
course we
week.
did that, but it doesn't mean we can't do it again.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing. Like, maybe they just like took.
Recycle the story.
Yeah,
That's what they do all season, is just recycling old material.
It's like, oh, these people, they'll never know.
That's
Like,
funny.
it's not like in 30 years somebody's going to be talking about it.
Never. So that'll be next week. In the meantime, you can find us everywhere at Shit90s Pod. Go check out Whirlwind Podcast for the aforementioned Everwood recap on One Indescribable podcast, which has been really fun. And if you're into teen dramas, could be certainly up your alley.
Yeah.
And yeah, Sarah, anything else you want to tell the folks about?
Yesterday I played with a cat for the first time in a very long time. And so we were at this like at a friend's house. They had 2 dogs and 3 cats, 2.5 cats. One of the cats was like outside a lot. And it just reiterated how much more I like cats than I like dogs. And I've been masking as a dog person for the last 12 years.
Yeah, this is very unsurprising to me.
I don't know how I've been fooling myself thinking I was a dog person, but I had the best time with this cat. I love this cat so much, and I want to play with more cats, but my husband hates cats and he's allergic to the cats.
You'll have to go to like a cat cafe or something, I think.
Yeah, but the dogs were miserable. I hated them. And I hate everybody's dogs except my own. So I don't like dogs. I think I just need to admit it.
You don't like dogs.
Did you know that? You knew I don't like dogs?
Yeah, you very much only like small dogs. And even then, it's like specific breeds of small dog is what you like. You don't like dogs that actually act like
That's
dogs.
so true.
You like dogs that act like cats. Like
so true.
You're like, I don't want this dog to bark. I don't want this dog to beg for food. I don't want this dog to play loudly.
Like, yeah. Like, it's like, I don't want this dog to do it. I just want this dog to like sit here and like let me pet them.
I want this dog to be a cat or be like 19 years old, because then it's not going to do any of those other things I just said.
It's so true. But I didn't know. Like, I really did think that I was a dog person. I was like, yeah,
I'm a dog person.
Well, I was like, I always said like, oh yeah, like I'm a Shih Tzu person because like they're very like cat-like. And I like playing fetch with dogs. Like, I don't mind.
I think you're a toy breed dog like person. You know what I mean? Like, you like toy breeds, and that's about it. Because the bigger the dog is, the more generally dog-like they are.
Yeah, I don't like dogs. I just wanted everybody to know. I had so much fun with that. I just want to go back
to have on the podcast. I don't like dogs.
I just want my truth to be out there.
Listen, shout it loud and proud for the cat lovers in the world. I've met cats I've liked. They scare me because of their unpredictable nature.
They're very spicy.
Yeah, and I like predictable animals, so that is not for me.
Yeah, I just wanted my truth to be out there because I didn't want to lie to you or the listeners anymore.
You heard it here first, folks. Sarah is a cat person, confirmed.
But I'll never have one, and I may be like a little sad about it.
No,
so
you
I just
can get a rabbit. Get a rabbit.
No, I don't want a rabbit. Okay, so I'll just have to like go over to people's houses that have cats.
Visit folks that have cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that, we'll be back next week for our next episode of Felicity Season 4, Episode 7. And until then, everyone, have a good one. Bye.
Just ask. Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.